Well, hello. How's it going? Did you notice anything different? I have light. And you're going to be like, oh, you have a ring light. That's really genius of you. Yeah, I have a ring light. So, see, look, you can see it like that, but not like this. Also, let me back up. We're going to talk about a few things that I've discovered. I can tell by the grain, too, that it's maybe not still the best amount of light. Let's get this down here. I'm still working on it. That's kind of the point of all this, right? We're just working. Gonna keep working. Um, what I would like to talk about today is things I'm learning along the process of moving into voiceover and expenses of things that I was aware of and things I wasn't aware of, and technical difficulties. Some I was aware of, some I was not aware of. Um, so where do we start? I got my first audiobook. It's a very short audiobook. I won't say the name or anything until it's done. But so through ACX, which is the audiobook audiobook creation exchange through Amazon. So working with Such a Voice, they teach us how to use Audacity and how to master our audio and how to make it ACX compliant because it has quality assurance things that are important. If you want to be able to narrate audiobooks through ACX, there are things you need to know. You can't just plug in a microphone and start talking. Pardon me. This is where doing something like working with a program through such as Such a Voice, or any other program, if you are a person such as myself who tends to have big ideas and no follow through because I need help, and I may not realize I need help, I had been thinking about voiceover for at least 3 years before the universal algorithm sent me Such a Voice. And it was right timing, and I happened to have the money, and I happened to have a partner who could support me financially if I didn't have the money. So some things in place for sure. But that's what I needed. I needed help. I needed a community. I needed support. I would have never figured out the Audacity stuff on my own. And also technical difficulties on Audacity that I'm still struggling with. So I need to actually call them and find out. So let's talk about technical difficulties. Having a computer that needs to be taken care of. If your computer's old, it needs to be cleaned out, needs to be vacuumed out. Is the fan is too loud? Is something that was starting to happen. They said that wasn't it, that my computer was, I was listening to see. Like I can kind of hear it right now. That's not great, and I don't know why it's doing that. So I took it into a You Break, I Fix. They took care of things, and the guy said to me, the Norton antivirus that was running was slowing my stuff down, which may have been part and parcel of a technical difficulty I was experiencing when recording audio, which I won't get into what it was because I don't even know the right words to say to explain what the problem was. What I can say is that it hasn't happened since I removed the antivirus program. So that guy's advice was install Malwarebytes, run it, uninstall it if you don't want the antivirus programs to slow your stuff down. Or talk to a professional. You don't have to listen to me about that. So there's a few other issues I ran into. It's a very short audiobook that I did. It's literally running time of like 25 minutes. And I had to re-record chapter 3 multiple times for various reasons. These are not things that were taught to me how to handle as of yet with Such a Voice, but I do have a meeting or a Zoom with the technical lady who taught us about the home studio setup to go over all of that. So I still have access to people that can help me. Also important because there's a lot I don't know from a technical aspect. Things to keep in mind if you're thinking about doing voiceover and you don't like the cost. Think of it as an energetic exchange. Unless you're really technically savvy and you're great at research and you enjoy doing those sort of things don't create resistance in you. Great. but if you're not that person and the exchange is financial, I recommend it. Expenses. Okay, so Such a Voice costs $6,000, but it is a lifelong, you have lifelong access to folks. They send you the equipment, they help you record the demo, you get coaching, you get training, you get ongoing assistance. So I signed up in January. It's now May. And there's still a lot to know and watch. There's a lot of educational videos that they have up. So I imagine that it will really feel totally worth it. It doesn't not feel worth it now, but it's only 5 months in. So $6,000 still, boom, it's a lot. Let's have this conversation after I've made some money. Yeah. But knowledge is good, right? These glasses, I think maybe you've noticed the glasses are a little different. I decided it was pertinent to spend $400 on a pair of, these are called Silhouette. They're from a company called Silhouette. You can see they're rimless. I don't know what he said. He filed these down so the light wouldn't bing off of them. And these arms, I'm going to take these off for a second. These arms, are extremely flexible and thin. And they don't, I am so sorry. I can't see. So wearing headphones, I'm sorry for bonking that. They don't squeeze into my head like my other glasses do. They were giving me a headache. So an expense I didn't really think about going in, but I am very pleased with the result. Oh, they're also blue light protected, so being in front of a TV or computer, really helpful. They're just really helpful. I feel much more comfortable. I feel much more professional having made that choice. And I don't know if that makes any bit of sense, but I don't care. You do what you are guided to do, right? This is a thing I saw on TikTok a lot in terms of doing something for editing, having a dog clicker. So when you're reading and you don't feel like messing with your flow, you're reading, you mess up, you go, so you know, because the sound wave will be very tall and very thin, it'll be very obvious where that mistake happened. So you just go and it helps. I'm not going to lie. You can also snap or clap, but that visually looks better to me. We talk a lot about, actually, let me back up. A thing that has actually been very helpful to me, that I think has helped me bridge any gaps in confidence I might have had going into this, is making the choice 2.5 years ago to just talk into the void. For whatever reason that made no sense to me at the time. Not no sense. I had a goal, which was to reach people. And perhaps I didn't realize that part of that was just practicing speaking into a microphone or just speaking into the void. Because what I am quite innately good at right now is just speaking naturally, which is what most clients are looking for. Something else that I have experience in that maybe not everybody does coming in is cold reads. And by that, I mean, and I have no affiliation with this author or anything. It just happens to be one of my favorite book series ever for kids, which is Skippy-John Jones. I'm going to mispronounce her name, Judy Schachner. Sorry, Judy. I love your books. And being able to do a cold read, I think, which means reading with no preparation, with confidence. So a lot of people will say prior to recording an audition, you should do tongue twisters, mouth exercises, blah, 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 and reading aloud every day for at least 10 minutes. So in my opinion, why don't you do both? Read Skippy-John Jones or something like it, which is also tongue twistery, which is why I like these books. They're fun to read. So books that are written for children that are not fun to read are the bane of my existence. Just saying. I feel like there's... Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm going to read a tiny bit of this for you, just for funs. 'Cause I love it. And I'm going to, sorry about that too. Okay. Skippy John Jones was crazy about digging into Mrs. Dolly Doohiggy's garden. Because that's where Mrs. Dolly Doohiggy's dog, Darwin, buried all of his bones. And nobody messed with Darwin. 2 yards away, Mama Junebug Jones was hanging wash when her kitty boy blew through the sheets like a muddy wind. "Hey, Pickle Pants," hollered Mama, "don't run with your mouth full." But Pickle Pants only had one thing in mind. Dinosaurs. "I'm going to be a famous paleontologist." Ooh, see, he says whispered. "I'm going to be a famous paleontologist," whispered Skippy John Jones, arriving at his room. Then he popped a pickle in his puss. He slapped some glue all over his newfound bone and stuck it into his model. "And you are my Skipposaurus," he added out loud. So, Skippy John Jones is a Siamese cat that likes to pretend that he is a Chihuahua. And the lingo that is used is very challenging and tongue-twistery, by and large. So, if not this, I recommend finding something you enjoy reading that will bring you energy, will force your, some neurons in your brain to start firing and some neural pathways to start forming. One for your gross motor of your mouth, your fine motor, and for your confidence. Finding difficult things to read in general. And just kind of doing it a lot, I think, is a good idea. Was there anything else? Oh, practicalities. So my lovely partner built me this wooden table, I guess, with the purpose of it being something I can, the thing I'm sitting on too, something I can sit down on and do all this, but the bottom part also raises up if I want to stand and record, which I haven't done quite yet. It's just a very small space that we're working with. I guess it really couldn't be. I wish it was wider, because I find that I'm very, I don't have a lot of room to work my mouse, and that gets frustrating. I also needed to buy a computer stand, which sort of provides some space. I guess I could do that. Okay, I just taught myself something. So condensed space that works, that you can manipulate stuff without bonking, because stuff makes noise. If I twang this wood, this has happened before, I've hit the wood because I'm a little enthusiastic when I read. I hit the wood, I got to start over. Things to keep in mind. Another one is, so the chair that I'm on, if you are a person who works in a school system, you are probably familiar with wobble chairs. So this chair wobbles, and it actually, me being a short person, it's actually a tiny bit too tall, and it makes my legs go a little bit numb. But there's two reasons for it. One, it's silent, and I can use it to facilitate my need to express myself physically, but condensed and tight. It's also great for core stuff, and if I'm going to be spending most of my time sitting, I need it to be at least a little bit engaged and active. So there are some for tall people. They're not the cheapest things in the world, but I did find this one on eBay for $20, which is crazy cheap. And the lady lived in the next town, and I just went and got it. So the miracle of the universal algorithm. So my advice to you, and just like with anything else we've talked about, is when you are resistant to the thing you are trying to accomplish, do it anyway. Now, don't get yourself in trouble. Don't put up with nonsense. But know the difference. You are actually in a dangerous situation, or you are creating a problem for yourself that is not actually a problem. Or you are just being resistant for reasons that are doing nothing but inhibiting you or causing you to stand in your own way. You got to ask yourself those questions. Or plan ahead. If you want to do voiceover, for instance, and I've told you it's $6,000 just to do such a voice, and then there will obviously be extraneous expenses. There just will be. And that number freaks you out, but you want to do it. Plan ahead. Save the money. Work towards it. It's been around for 30 years. It's not going anywhere. And even if it did, there'd be other avenues. So again, don't take my word for it. Talk to other people who've gone a different way about it. It's very doable, and it's fun. And again, we'll talk more when I make more money. It's not about the money. It is about the money. I want to make a living doing this. And not having to hustle other gigs in the meantime. That is the goal. It's not going to happen right away. It's not a linear path. There's a lot of this. I still have a lot of stuff to learn. But I think that's it. I think I talked about everything. Okay. I hope you're all well. We'll talk again soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.